The South is still highly endemic for tropical diseases. It is closely associated with sanitation, and that sanitation is closely associated with poverty. So you put it together and you could say that the rural South in the United States is still highly endemic for tropical diseases, mostly helminths and other diarrheal-causing illnesses. The problem with these parasites is they can cause long-term problems in children and adults. So if you're growing up in this region and you already have issues with food scarcity or maybe more nutrition problems because you're not taking the best type of meals, fresh vegetables, vitamins, and you have this parasite, it can really cause growth delays. And there's evidence it can cause cognitive delays. So then you don't do as well in school as your colleagues or other peers who don't have a parasite. So then you have worse outcome or less possibilities for getting yourself out of poverty. So your children are born into poverty. And so it's a cycle that we call the vicious cycle of poverty that the parasites have a hand in. It's a multifactorial problem because basically the answer would be, well, let's get rid of poverty, which is a lofty goal. We can temporize certain problems by giving mass drug administration, giving the population things like albendazole or antiparasitics. It works because the worms are easy to get rid of. It just takes 1 or 2 pills and you're clear. The problem is that they'll go right back to the environment and get reinfected. So it's not a person-to-person solution, it's a public health solution. So yes, some type of infrastructure would be the best to minimize infection, to bring it down to levels where it's acceptable. While helminths and other parasites don't really cause too much mortality, so they don't tend to kill the patient, it's still something we should address because it does cause morbidity. So it causes issues with growth delays and cognitive delays, and it can cause problems maybe with asthma. So these are issues that we can eradicate if we just invested some infrastructure, and it would go a long way to making amends to some of our populations in the rural South that have been neglected. So these are our neglected neighbors for neglected tropical diseases.